they're often looking after people that no one else wants to pay attention to. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
there's the
Yeah.
public, first steps, for
Kind of the
example.
forgotten
Yeah, that's right.
people, the ones that fallen by the wayside, that a lot of times maybe we haven't forgotten them, but we decide not to see them.
That's right.
We'll
Yeah.
pass right by them, and for whatever reason, it's just too much. We just don't want to say that they're there. And you guys pay attention to organizations that pay attention to that.
Yeah.
That's
We're
fabulous.
doing our best to do that, and we're trying to do better. Examples of that, for example, would be, well, let's take Park Center. Park Center takes care of people with mental illness.
Okay.
And again, a lot of people are saying, okay, I don't want to see that.
Oh
for
yeah,
people.
that's a big.
Yeah, Park Center does a beautiful job with that. First Steps, a charity in town here, takes care of small children with disabilities.
Wow.
And again, people say, "Oh gosh, that's I don't want to deal with that. That's too hard." Well, First Steps, has the courage to
They
deal
got
with
the
those
heart,
issues.
man.
And the heart.
They
Yeah.
got the heart.
That's the heart and courage and capability, and that's what these
Now,
organizations
is
do.
it just nonprofits here in Middle Tennessee, or can they come from all over the state of Tennessee?
It's actually just Middle Tennessee. It's all the counties in Middle Tennessee, from Kentucky down to Alabama, and we do give a lot of our grants to rural charities as well.
They need it.
Right, exactly. Well, they really do. In fact, the particular challenge in rural areas is often access, getting
Yes.
access to care. So we're concerned about that. But most of all, I think all of us who work at the Baptist Healing Trust are grateful for the work being done. We have the easy part of the job, giving out the money. The hard part is actually delivering the service.
Well, I know that when we were talking a little bit before we started rolling on camera, you seem to be a multifaceted person yourself. I think you've done TV before.
Yes.
You said maybe for 8 years you
Right.
did TV. Was it kind of like a variety show or a
Well,
talk?
yeah, I used to sing. No, I really wasn't.
No
It was,
singing, no dancing. You didn't do anything.
yeah, we should have had more of that. Actually, it was a health show called Life Choices with Erie Chapman, and it ran from 1986 to 1995, 1994, 5, around there. It was all over the country, and it was a Sunday morning program.
Wow.
And back then we didn't have YouTube. Now, you may be watching us on YouTube right now. Yeah.
Hey, wow. And then
Yeah.
also, I think you have written some books, and I do happen to have one right here, Radical Loving Care. Would you tell the viewing audience something about this book?
Thanks, Navita. This is a book that is aimed at what I was talking about earlier. It's trying to help organizations, hospitals and other charities, help them focus on what they're there to do. I think everybody starts out in a charity with high ideals and high hopes.
Oh, yeah.
And then, sometimes the system can beat people down. That clerk I was talking about at the admitting desk, she's a kind, caring person, and maybe during the first few weeks she was in that job, she actually was trying to be helpful. But then some supervisor will come along and say, don't spend time talking to patients now, just get the form filled out. And pretty soon it starts beating down the employees. So this book is directed at focusing on radical loving care. And radical loving care, it's actually grounded, this particular work, we're the Baptist Healing Trust, so it's grounded in the parable of the Good Samaritan, but actually in the universality of love. So,
Well, this is from a publisher of More Than Healthcare magazine, Chuck Lauer.
Lauer.
He wrote, Chapman has written a book that should be in the hands of every healthcare executive who truly believes in the core mission of taking care of others. Anyone who leads a healthcare organization of any kind should read this book.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm garnering from this is that it's a must-read book for executives, really, more than, it's for everybody, but it's like if an executive read this, then they can kind of get an understanding, get the heart, and then they will pass it on down. So it's like you wrote this book for the people up in the top that I guess sometimes they do tend to forget about the compassion
Yeah.
and the love, because they do get wrapped up in the business side.
And that's a very worrisome thing. You really put your finger on it, because the problem in most organizations is with leadership. The first line staff people are ready to serve if they would just get more support. And the main thing I learned in 30 years of running hospitals myself, the main thing I learned is that the first job of a leader is to take care of the people that take care of people, right? So, you know, the leaders, the presidents of these organizations are not out delivering service usually. Who do they take care of? Their staff. And I think if you take good care of your staff, then that'll show in the way in which the people are treated, the way the clients are treated. So it is really aimed at leaders to try to kind of shake them by the lapels a little bit, get their attention, and say to them, look, you got to be taking care of your staff. The bottom line's important, but that'll take care of itself if you take care of your staff.
I love that. And
Yeah.
I want to also, any leader that's looking and viewing the show and watching us, to know we're not beating them up. We just want to, I guess, give them a gentle reminder
Yeah.
that you were one way before you were a leader. Sometimes they are the ones that work themselves, what they say, up through the ranks.
Right.
And remember how you felt when somebody that maybe wasn't as concerned said something to you kind of flippantly as they went, or pitched something at you, and now you're at that status, you're at that position, and you need to kind of remember when. It sounds like that's what this book is all about too, is just trying to gently give the executive, look, remember when, guy, girl, when you were kind of down there and struggling, and now you have made it. And so also you're kind of like a role model too, because it's somebody coming up behind you that's watching you, that at least want to get where you're at. So you can, this is a way to show them, okay, yes, you can be a leader, you can be business-like, you can get the job done, but you can still care.
That's right.
For people.
That's it. Yeah. Exactly.
That's it.
That's it. It's really about having, it's about, you know, loving care is about two things, really, in the end. It's what we call fire and light. It's being really loving, meaning that you want to be competent, disciplined, well-trained.